Hello everyone, welcome to an all new episode of the Indic Explorer show. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel. Now, of late, artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT has been in the news. The initial generation of artificial intelligence was seen to be something that could replace anything that is mathematical, scientific or precise. But now, with the current generation of artificial intelligence, it's delving into deeper human aspects, like things like creativity, videos, images, audio. All of these are seen as replaceable by AI. And one of the communities that has really been very nervous with the coming of AI is marketing, advertising, and branding as to what will happen to the future of this industry. So to kind of demystify this subject for us today, I have with me India's premier branding and marketing expert, Suhel Seth. Welcome to the show, Suhel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vinny.
So, getting straight into the topic, what are the most significant ways in which you think artificial intelligence will impact branding, marketing, and advertising in the near future?
You'll be shocked when I tell you that nothing will happen. Artificial intelligence is fine. What will you do about native stupidity? It's the same logic that people use ki bhai, oh, Zoom se sab hoga. Why will people meet? After the 2008 crash, before that 9/11, people said, oh, no one will fly. Physical meetings are gone. People are scared. Nothing. Human interface and human touch can't be replaced by artificial intelligence. A. B. Who will understand the complex problems? Suppose you tell someone on ChatGPT, okay, I have an issue. I want to sell a 23,000 rupee motorcycle. My competitors are ABC. So suppose you're Kellogg's and you say, okay, I'm a cereal. I'm consumed in the morning between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. And I have various kinds of products in terms of flavors. So who's my competition? You know what artificial intelligence will tell you? That Quaker Oats is your competition. They won't tell you that in South India, someone's breakfast is dosa and idli, or that Anglo-Indians in Calcutta are consuming puri with mangsho curry. How will you get into these complex issues of consumer behavior? A. B. Who will replace the actual human thing? It's like some of these idiots are saying, oh, ChatGPT will replace doctors, will replace, people. How? How will it happen? Look, there is a slight difference. When you're making things easy for a consumer, which are of transactional nature, it is fine. Chidambaram made a stupid comment in Parliament when he said, "Oh, digitization will not happen because the panwala will not use digital payments." He's been proven wrong because that was of a transactional nature. That was technology driven. Here, you're using technology to amplify facts. You're using technology for advice. You're using technology for information. I can understand you can use technology for knowledge. A. B. Vineet is submitting a paper on the influence of Shakespeare on the politics of Elizabethan England. And he says to ChatGPT, bhai, ek tum bana do sara jaake on Julius Caesar. Now you tell me, who and how will you explain? First, you're cheating. So that's a no-no in my book. Then you'll remain a perpetual dolt because you wouldn't have studied. But tell me, how will you understand the stoicism of Brutus? And what will artificial intelligence tell you other than the factual stuff? When Brutus said, when asked by Mark Antony, why did you stab Caesar? He says, it's not that I loved Caesar less, but I loved Rome more. How will you explain Mark Antony's ending? When he says this was the noblest Roman of them all, the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man. Now, artificial intelligence or ChatGPT will give you the content, but who will analyze the content? A. B. Suppose Vineet is in a particular state of mind or in an emotional state or in a physical state, or Vineet is preparing for a play. How will you use that knowledge? And how will artificial intelligence understand what you're using that knowledge for? Let's imagine you tell them that I'm rehearsing for a play. Then human touch, human analytics, human understanding can never be replaced. Never. There are limits to which technology can and must intervene. there are also limits to which technology must not and cannot intervene. Tomorrow, खुदा ना खास्ता, विनीत गया और फोर्टिस मैक्स के डॉक्टर को बोला कि भाई आप मेरे को एडवाइस करो. Fortis doctors will give you the best advice. But suppose you say Chat GPT, you don't even know where the joker is. You won't even understand how to treat things. So I have a great belief, and I know it sounds very controversial, but I think technology must also stay within the realms of its influence and not change the world. Tomorrow, someone will say, ki, bhai, I can have sexual delight, or I can produce children through artificial intelligence or through Chat GPT. I mean, there is no end. Tomorrow, books will be, I mean, you will have Chat GPT telling you how to, romance a man or a woman or whoever. So it doesn't work. We have to understand that while it is a borderless world for transactional technology, it is not a borderless world for relational technology.
So it's a very interesting thing that you mentioned that for analytics, you would still need the human interface. So I want to kind of delve deeper into this. So there is definitely some utility. I'm sure we can agree on that in this, right?
Of course.
So what will be the boundaries you think an effective boundary between human and AI? Because what happens here is, from what I can understand, it seems like the human element will be more analytics. So I can see some jobs at the lower level at least disappearing, right? Like we'll still need a Suhel Seth to, kind of effectively tailor the campaign, even if, AI is being used by him. But maybe the team that he has, will we need those many people?
So I think it's a great question. So let me give you an example, real life example, so that your viewers and you understand what I'm saying. Himalaya is a mineral water. Okay? Now, every mineral water is a mineral water, but Himalaya is different because it's from an aquifer. The others are bottled mineral water. This is an aquifer driven mineral water. Now, many years ago, and it was Mr. Tata's genius to accept, I wrote an ad which said, this year on New Year's Eve, we urge you to drink and drive. All it had was a bottle of Himalayan. We said, आप शराब मत पीजिए, आप जितना पानी पी सकते हैं आप पीजिए, and there's Himalayan. We were doing two things. One is we were being cheeky about brands. Brands are all about memorability. But second, we were also delivering a very powerful social message through that cheekiness. We said that, look, don't drink and drive. If you tell someone, aaj sharab mat piyo, they'll say, to hell with you. Who are you? And they'll say, why, yaar? Aapne, you have done it this way. Now you tell me which artificial intelligence, which Chat GPT, because they are linear. Human beings are non-linear. Human beings have fungible attractiveness mentally. But tomorrow, you say that, yeah, I want all the crosswords to be solved by Chat GPT or AI. Yes, they will solve it. Will you have any joy? Will you actually feel good about yourself? Will you feel good about winning a game of Scrabble because you've cheated or you've been inspired by artificial intelligence or Chat GPT? You won't. So, technology will empower you, but it will not give you stature. Technology will make life easy, but do you really want an easy life? Do you not want to remember things? Do you not want to tell your children or your grandchildren anecdotal references of Premchand or Dinkar or Tagore? आप अगर वक्त की बात करोगे और चिनॉय सेठ की बात करोगे और बलराम सानी की बात करोगे, how much will you rely on Chat GPT and AI? What will they tell you? Ki, what was that waqt about? And when Sahid Ludhianvi says, ye kooche, ye galiyan kahan hai wo log, in Pyasa, which is a direct reference to Nehruvian socialism and the catastrophe that India faced just after independence, how will you get AI and Chat GPT to actually give you the emotional flavor? Human beings are born and bred out of three things: emotions, logic, and the unknown. So they fear the unknown the most. The emotional, they're never worried about. Logic, they know that they can bounce off and be secure. Logic gives them security. Emotional gives them play. The third gives them unpredictability and therefore fear. That's not replaceable by technology. Yeah, aap dekh lo, you and I could have had this conversation over Chat GPT or AI. You'd have asked some questions, you would have modulated my voice, and you would have said, oh, Suhel Seth is speaking. But we are face to face. So, how do you actually even imagine that technology will be able to replace the very basics of human emotion? And marketing and branding is all about understanding that human emotion. Piyush Pandey many years ago did a Cadbury's ad where the cricketer has won and this girl is in the stand and she says to hell with everything. She jumps onto the cricket pitch and hugs her boyfriend. The boyfriend is embarrassed. Today, that same ad has been redone. Given what's happening with women, cricket, empowerment, blah blah blah. Here, the Sardar in the stands is overjoyed, and he comes and hugs his girlfriend, who's an exceptional cricketer who scored a shot. What will ChatGPT tell you? It will tell you the logical framework, but it will not be able to carve out the emotionality of what it's saying or what the technological references are.
So, in terms of jobs, do you think there are certain skills that will be at a premium? How would the job market and marketing reorient itself? Let's
Vineet,
say,
you're gonna curse me, but I'll tell you, none of this will happen. I'll tell you why. Suppose I tell Vineet that there are 3,000 customers, of which 2,000 are below the average annual income of 5 lakhs. Okay? So I tell Vineet this information, and let's say Vineet is AI. Vineet says, okay, if there are 3,000, that is their affordability. But I have not been able to dissect it further. I have not said whether they are nuclear families, whether they are joint families, whether in the joint family there is no labor cost because people within the joint family are doing house chores. I'm not telling you whether they're vegetarians, non-vegetarians, अपने मकान में रहते हैं कि रेंट पे रहते हैं. अगर रेंट पे रहते हैं कौन से शहर में रहते हैं, अगर शहर में रहते हैं तो वो कौन सा इलाका है उस शहर में जहां रहते हैं. What are their eating habits? What are their savings habits? बच्चों की शादी कब होगी, उन्होंने कितना सेव किया है. Will they tell you how much black money they have? जो दौड़ते लेते हैं, the cash. How will AI intervene in what I call a complex human family system, even in a basic way? So it's all right to say, हाँ भाई, AI will tell you कि ये करो, वो करो. How will I glean that data? Do you know, it's interesting that you mentioned this. India has the longest survival rate of refrigerators. A fridge overseas survives for 8-9 years. यहाँ पे जब फ्रिज खराब हो जाती है उसको अलमारी बना देते हैं. जो आप बनियान पहनते हो, if the banyan has one hole, it is used as a pocha. If it has 10 holes, it is used to plug a leak in a nali. A toothbrush is used first to brush your teeth, then it is used when it's worn out to clean the uppers of the bottle. What AI will tell you this? What ChatGPT will tell you this? How will you define that human emotion? Plus, look at the influx of what's happening. Today, India, to my mind, is a great country at in a great age. Now, how will I be able to explain to Vineet through AI or ChatGPT what the complex political issues are which are impacting the socio-economic fabric of our country? भाई अक्टूबर में या नवंबर में अगर राम मंदिर बन जाए तो for a lot of people it's Ram Mandir, but how will it impact the tourism economy of Uttar Pradesh? Will Uttar Pradesh be able to create the golden triangle like Rajasthan has? So the data has to be very, very beautifully gleaned, and has to be gleaned from a humane perspective, not from a technology perspective. See, remember one thing. जो आपको लोग बोले, technology has always been an enabler. It's never a replacement. Technology is an aid. It is not a substitute. If you get these two phrases right, आपकी जिंदगी बहुत अच्छी तरह बीतेगी. If you don't get this right, you'll be muddled. You'll be confused. And a lot of people between you and me who are saying artificial intelligence, chat, replace, bullshit. They're not replacing anyone. Today, more and more research agencies are hiring more and more people. The reason being that, yes, the computer can throw up the data, but I need to know two things. One is what data to ask for. Number two, how to analyze that data. And let me tell you what is more important, what to ask.
Yeah, true.
I can bloody churn
The
out
prompt.
anything here. I can say, yeah, okay, I want to understand everything about the Indic paradigm. But a conversation with you may be completely life altering in terms of making me understand why you're doing what you do or why I'm doing what I do. Plus, where will the ideation come from? Let's imagine technology, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT is doing whatever the hell it's doing. Where will original ideation come from? Will people stop writing books? Will you stop reciting poetry? Will you stop singing will you stop singing a song with a bowl on the streets of a village in Murshidabad? Will Javed Akhtar stop his lyrics or Gulzar Sahab? तो अगर ये सब चलेंगी parallelly, why will people? And tomorrow that technology will be replaced by a better technology. Where is that permanence? There is only permanence of the human mind and the human soul. Everything else is transition.
There's a deeper philosophical question on creativity itself, which this topic, begs us to answer, which is, what is creativity? There are two ways of looking at it: coming with something original, or second, which many people say, is creativity is kind of inspired from everything that already exists in the universe. So in that sense, what AI is doing, is it really replacing human beings? Because it is doing exactly what human beings do, which is use inspiration which exists and creates. Or how much of it is truly original? So that's a philosophical question.
Artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, whatever the hell it is, will never be original. It cannot be. Because a framework has been set by some jokers. And over time, that framework only gets bettered because it's AI. It's like a Google Map situation. If you go to one place too often, then they get better routes delineated for that. A. B. Creativity is about originality. Why? Because ultimate aim of creativity is not to win awards like all these jokers do. The ultimate objective of creativity is to make itself memorable, cherishable, and value added. भाई आप अगर सिनेमा भी जाते हो, अगर आप पिक्चर भी देखते हो, if you watch a film, you watch it for a purpose of entertainment. But would you want to come out of a hall and say, oh, I don't even remember what I saw? No. So memorability is the first. If you don't remember a brand, you'll never buy it. I always have one theory, which is of my own. See, I didn't do an MBA like all you fancy guys. I'm an English literature student. My logic tells me that there are only 3 brands in any category that a consumer can remember, and I call them the brands that trip off the tongue. If I tell you very quickly name 3 toothpastes, you will not be able to name more than 3. They are topmost of your mind. So what we call brand recall. तो भाई आप ये कैसे replace करोगे? Now suppose you say, I want a toothpaste which removes the stains of my teeth. They will give you such a name, आपने सुना नहीं होगा. But then there is a Colgate variant. There is charcoal toothpaste. There's a brand called Hello. So how are you going to create that whole world? And see, let me tell you, I'm no one to say कि भाई ये technology होगी नहीं. I don't want to be another Chidambaram. All I'm saying is that in the creative business, it will not find wings which will enable it to fly or soar. I don't think that's going to happen.
But Suhel, here, just coming back on that question again, whether it's a filmmaker or an advertiser, right, a creative, can anyone truly say that they had no inspiration from the universe or things that happened before?
I don't. I can tell you wherever I worked on whatever I worked, it has come to me in a flash. I've always thanked my parents for that. I said, भाई आगे idea. अब ये मैं थोड़ी बोलूंगा कि भाई oh the idea came because I was sitting under a bloody banyan tree and suddenly the breeze was at 30 miles per hour and therefore it ruffled my senses and I thought about it. That's all bullshit. And some people might get inspired. I'm talking about myself. My inspiration comes with also remember, I've done this for a long time. So I know what's going on because of reading, not because of artificial intelligence. Mine is genuine readership or scholarship. So I know ki kya ho raha hai. Plus, I'm observing. I'm observing the gwala. I'm observing how people are talking to each other. Yesterday I went to some place. There were 4 people in the room. 2 of us were talking. There were 2 other people. They were each respectively on their mobile phones. It tells you about character. It tells you about decency. It tells you about upbringing. These are important emotional qualities. भाई आप अगर creative product बना रहे हो, I must know who Vineet is. I must understand the character of Vineet. I must say, yeah, okay, this is the kind of person Vineet is. Then I must tailor the idea. I can't say, oh, Vineet is one of India's most celebrated podcasters. तो ठीक है, उसको इसकी क्या idea होगा? Which is why I say, and now you will be shocked, AI will never be able to be judgmental. Human beings by nature are judgmental. Therefore, you need the human touch. I need to be able to judge you. I need to be able to understand you. Why do you think, some of us are, regarded as guru, consumer specialist? Why? For years, we've studied consumer behavior. And I've used literature as my window to that world. What does Caesar say about Cassius? He says, let me have men about me who are fat. For Cassius has a lean and hungry look. Such men are dangerous. So I'm saying there's a lot that you can learn from literature. There's a lot that you can learn from everyone. You can learn a lot from artists. When you see Van Gogh's paintings and you see his art, you realize, or Bikash Bhattacharya's later years ka kaam. So, my friend, I am saying, jitna bhi dhindora aap peet lo, jitna bhi Satya Nadella and Bill Gates and all these Johnnies tell us the world is changing, आप अपने माता और पिता के पाँव फिर भी छुओगे. Arvind Daniel will not tell you bow only to 3 feet or 6 feet. You will still want to have succor from your shastras. आपके संस्कार फिर काम आएंगे. What will you do? Do you want to really sacrifice every inch of humaneness, every inch of gentileness at the altar of technology? Do you really want to enslave your mind and body and soul to technology? Do you really want people to respect your intelligence when you, in your Gireban, know that you are basically nothing but a tech thief who has used AI to buttress his or her knowledge? Why would you want to do that? Salim Khan, sadly now known as Salman's father, said something very important to me one day on a walk. He said, सुहेल भाई, अगर आदमी पहाड़ों की ऊंचाइयों से गिर के अपने आप को संभाल सकता है, पर अगर वो अपनी आंखों में गिर गया तो वो कभी नहीं संभल सकता. Basically, self-worth. How will AI and ChatGPT and all these other Johnnies intervene, interpret, integrate, invigorate, involve themselves with this complexity of human behavior? Will you replace shrinks? Will you replace psychologists? Will you replace the need to talk to a human being? Will you replace the fact that in unspoken sentences I can actually recite a whole essay? Will tears of joy be sacrificed at the altar of technology-inspired happiness? Will you not cry when you see a hearse? Will you not cry when you go to a crematorium? Will you not cry in joy when you see your child being born? Where is the goddamn replacement? Now, you may say, we are digressing, it's about creativity. All these contribute to creativity. The delight that I experience in a child contributes to my creativity. When William Wordsworth's heart leapt in joy when he saw daffodils in the Lake District, it gave him delight, it gave him joy. So how can I say this works but this doesn't? Or this doesn't work but this does? Who am I?
Yeah, I think what it is actually doing is making creativity a science, which one would say was an art with human involvement. And okay, so the way I see it, and just chime in on this one, the human element is something where you actually take inspiration and, the experiences that you have around the world. But the machine or the science element here is no human being, anybody, even if they've let's say a 30-40 year career in a specific creative field, how much maybe they have done 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 campaigns. Artificial intelligence has the database of all the campaigns. So the way I see it, probably an interaction of both at a very, human and the machine part of it both coming together is probably the one which will give the best output.
But see,
Probably.
that's a good point. Having said that, yes, what technology will do is it will help us benchmark easily. It will help us remember the past with greater finality. But it will also then influence you. भाई 100 साल पहले अगर आपने दो शब्द यूज किए थे and AI tells you, oh, you can't use those two words because they've been used 100 years ago. That's bullshit. How many of us have lived 100 years? If you're talking about a 100-year period, you're talking about 5 generations. 5 generations move over a 100-year period. So how will you do it? तो ये सब कहने की बातें. Yes, I totally agree with you. It is good for benchmarking. It is good for mental jogging, but it is not good for mental inspiration. It cannot replace your mind. It can replace the statistical inferences that will help you make a judgment if you want that. They're only data points. They're not the heart of the matter. But imagine, would you be happy, God forbid, अगर मेरा accident या आपका accident हो गया, would you be happy with an artificial limb? No. It still does the same thing. So imagine AI being the artificial limb or the artificial brain or the artificial heart, depending on how you use it. You will still want your heart to bleed for humanity. You will still want your hand to hold another person's hand. You will still want to give your little finger to your daughter when you're taking her for a walk on the beach. Are you going to replace all of that? Because someone tells you, नहीं भाई 10 आदमियों ने हाथ पकड़ा आज तो आप कुछ और पकड़ लो गर्दन ही पकड़ लो. How the hell does it work? I know I'm being facetious, but I'm trying to drive home the perspective and the perceptual differences between allowing technology to invade versus allowing technology to enable. You can either make technology Mother Teresa or you can make technology Genghis Khan. You choose.
And there's this another example that many people are giving, which is that when Microsoft Excel came, people thought पहले तो लोग human mind calculation करते थे, then calculators came, then Excel came, right? So it's not
You
like
remember your mother's phone number?
yeah,
You remember your dad's phone number?
yeah,
Which are the phone numbers you remember?
not too many, maybe
I rest
three,
my case.
one or two.
I rest my
That's
case. एक जमाना होता था हम एटलीस्ट 50 to 60 numbers हमें याद रहते थे. Today, you have outsourced your memory to an iPhone or a Samsung, whatever the hell you use. That's my point. So कल को आपकी बैटरी खत्म हो जाए and you need to call your mother for sukoon or for asra or for help, what do you do? Ask yourself that before you go to bed. And these are
yeah.
important points. What will you do? आपका आईफोन चोरी हो गया या कोई भी आपका फोन चोरी हो गया and you need to reach out to your mother, what will you do? That is why I say when you replace everything with technology, you lose a lot of your soul, a lot of your mind, and a lot of your capacity to be to be effective. Your effectiveness gets reduced, and that's the important bit.
What do you think is going to happen to human IQ?
वो तो वैसे ही failed है. I'm looking at idiots around me. Today, if you ask someone, what's your tested IQ, they think you're insulting them. I'll tell you why, Vinny. I'm not being, I've been there, done that. I'm going to be 60 in May. And I've come the hard way. I've done my shit. People have stopped reading. People have stopped watching plays. People have become rascals and they interrupt a nice Rag Shri or a Rag Malhar which is being played. हमारी ये जो हमारी संस्कृति थी, जो हमारे संस्कार थे, जो हमारी upbringing थी, that's all been ruined. Every bloody thing is about convenience, immediacy. You can have anytime money, but you can't have anytime soul. And what's happened is we've started outsourcing everything. Yeah, you've outsourced love. Do you only love your mother once a year? Will you only romance your girlfriend once a year? Is that what's important? So the whole structure of human relationships has undergone a massive change.
Yeah. And what do you think will be the ethical considerations with regards to AI, in the sense
Because
that
people will not reveal the data. Tomorrow, if something goes wrong, who are you going to sue? Suppose I give you the incorrect data on basis of which what will you do? Tomorrow, khuda na khasta, on ChatGPT, I tell you, please take 2 crosins, 1 septon, 1 this thing, 1. Something goes wrong. Who will you sue? Forget sue. Who will you hold accountable? And when you go to another doctor for help, that doctor will say, "Par aap to idiot hai. Aapko kisne bola tha ye ChatGPT ye wo?"
and one is that, and the ethical consideration also goes with who is actually the owner of the IP, right? Where does
Those was, I'll tell you one thing. They're absolutely right. Those I don't even get involved because those are legal, complex. वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Onboarding issues, non-disclosure. वो तो बात की बात है. अरे भाई, do you first worry about the murder charge or about killing people? The murderer never says कि मैं धारा 302 में जाऊंगा या 304 में जाऊंगा. So ये सब तो बात की बात है. What is your mindset? If your mindset is कि भाई I'm willing to sacrifice everything at the altar of convenience, at the altar of technology, at the altar of looking hip, oh no, so say I'm using ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. Bhai, as I said at the beginning of our program, artificial intelligence is fine. What will you do about native stupidity? What if I ask you a trick question? Vineet is talking about 1942, and he says, okay, the interim cabinet that Pandit Nehru led did not have proportional Muslim representation, which is why Jinnah created Pakistan. And then I say, but did Nehru know that Jinnah had tuberculosis? And you'll say, oh, that is not the question that I asked AI. What will you do? How will you set context? Remember, everything Vineet in life is about context. You're rich contextually to someone else who is either poor or richer. How will you set context? How will AI set context? How will ChatGPT set context? And if you don't set context, then there's nothing. You remember, we often say that those who don't learn from history perish at the altar of it. If I don't have historical context, how will I understand? I must recognize, what did Krishna tell Arjun as he was headed to war? This is your duty, ye dharma hai. Didn't Krishna as a god know that in the wake of war there's death, destruction, widows, orphans? He knew. How will you explain that? Tell me. How will you explain the emotional undercurrents of a Ravan in Sri Lanka being treated as a god and Ravan in India being treated as a villain? Or Ravan's giant intellect, which has now paled in comparison to his evilness? How will you talk about B.R. Ambedkar's sorrows when he said in Parliament that he had made a mistake with the Indian Constitution, which is in Shashi Tharoor's book on Ambedkar and life? How will you say that? तो बस ये सब कहने की बातें हैं कि नहीं भाई हम लोग ये करेंगे वो करेंगे. So all I'm saying कि भाई, yes, things will happen, but Vineet, you and I have to live within a microcosm called society. We have to live within the parameters of an ever-evolving society. The aspirations of the India of 1943 were different from the aspirations of an India in 1948. 43, you wanted freedom. 48, you wanted stability. They were different in 52. After 71, they were different. In 91, they became different because you saw a nation state through the prism of economic liberalization. So all I'm saying is that, it's very easy for me to say, ye kar lo, wo kar lo, but ultimately it is about human frailty, human dignity, and human engagement. Frailty, dignity, and engagement are the 3 pillars on which any society is built. Frailty, why? I must be afraid of upsetting a social apple cart. Dignity is what I must provide. So these to my mind are the elements.
So putting on your marketeer's cap, how do you think the future is going to look like? जैसे कोई branding agency है, if they are using, क्या होगा? How would the
I have no idea.
setup look like?
No
Do you
idea.
see?
See, one good thing about me in my life is I've never been an astrologer. But
So
I
you
know,
don't get anything wrong.
but I know what,
Predictions.
I know how I'll be fine. उसके बाद, see, I can't tell you कि भाई, oh, tomorrow things will not be different or something will happen or some agency will shut up. I don't know. But I know at the edifice level, things will not change as dramatically as you and I think they will. And I know the business of creativity or the business of ideation, the business of marketing will not be significantly altered and must therefore not use AI or ChatGPT as replacements for the human mind or the human soul.
Correct. So, what would your advice be to young professionals who
Read till you die. Observe till you die. And there's a reason why God has given you 2 ears and only one mouth. Listen and not hear. Speak less, listen more. See wisely. Make your own interpretations. No one will come and interpret things for you. And that's how you lead life. We make life very complex. Bullshit. It's a simple life. And start enjoying your life. You know how many people in India today, when they're having lunch, they're thinking about dinner. अरे पहले आप lunch तो खत्म कर लो यार. So I'm saying enjoy your life, read as much, watch movies, watch plays, listen to music, whatever music you want to listen to. Celebrate human achievement. Don't celebrate कि अब और हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं to achieve.
Great.
Thank you.
With that, we come to the end of today's show. Thanks, Suhel, for joining us. It was a very insightful discussion. And guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, signing off.